Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm Mike Stansbury. With me today is John McSherry. John, originally from New York, now in Florida. How are you, sir?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, John, good to have you here. Really quickly, at Investor Fuel, the sponsor of our podcast, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their businesses to allow them to build the businesses they've always wanted and allow them to live the lives they've always dreamed of. John, I always like to start off with this. At what point in your life did you veer off and go into real estate? Were you doing something different professionally? Have you always been in real estate? What did that turn on the yellow brick road look like for you?
Sure. Well, I actually got into real estate. I started learning and becoming obsessed with it probably in 2006. It was right after a series of events in my life, finishing college, some family things that happened shortly after my father passed away. I was living in Philly, moved to New York to kind of have some big life changes, and that's kind of when the obsession started. I was studying industrial design in college, so I was studying product design and engineering. And after college, I was looking for a job in design. And at the same time, I was watching TV, and I became obsessed with HGTV, and that's all I would watch was Flip or Flop and House Hunters and all these shows. And I was just so amazed by the design elements that went into creating a home, designing and selling and staging a home. So that's really where the obsession started. And then I started buying real estate in 2011.
Okay. So it started watching those early fix and flip shows on A&E. Did you ever see those as well?
A few of them.
Yeah. Those guys, I remember there was, I just remember for some reason it just came back in my memory, these guys in South Carolina, and it was pretty wild that show, first of all, existed. And, but early on it was those shows that got you to think through, hey, this could be a career. So that was your first, you first purchased real estate in 2011. Tell me about the first deal.
Sure. So when I moved to New York, or back to New York, to my aunt's house in 2006, I actually moved into her garage because she had a half garage that was readily available. I didn't have to pay rent. It gave me a place to go and start looking for a job in Manhattan. So that's what I did. She lived in Long Island at the time. And I ended up getting a job in Manhattan, and I was going back and forth. And I ended up staying with her for 5 years and saved every single penny I had, saved up about $90,000 from that job that I had. And I ended up buying a condo in Lynbrook, Long Island. And shortly after buying that condo and moving in, I found out about a Rich Dad Poor Dad event in New York City. And I went to that event, and I was like, oh man, I just spent 5 years living in a garage to save for this house when I should have been out buying assets. So I'm going to sell this condo, and I'm going to go out and start flipping houses. So that's what I did.
Oh, that's hilarious. So you pivoted. And so that what's great about that, and this is really a good tidbit for people that are listening, is you got new information and you took action on it. And Robert Kiyosaki, he's one of those folks that, and that book specifically is the Boomerang book that people go back to, they reread it, and it really starts people down a path. But some people action takers, but you took action. Right. So you sold it, and then you're like, okay, I gotta figure out this part. And tell me, what did that look like?
Sure. So I sold that condo, and funny enough, I actually started buying and selling Subway franchises in 2012, but it wasn't for me. So I was like, I don't want to be in the restaurant business, but it was kind of like low-hanging fruit, right? So I inquired probably like 4 years prior, and then they got back to me, and they're like, you could start buying franchises now. And I was like, okay, great. But then once I got into it, I was like, this is a nightmare. And I knew exactly what I didn't want to do. So I ended up selling those. And then around 2014, I decided to get my real estate license. So I sold that condo, and then I started looking for flips. And in 2015, well, the main thing that I should mention is that I was telling everybody what I did and what I was looking for, my family, my friends, social media. And at some point, my aunt said to me, hey, I have a friend whose father needs to sell his house. It's a distressed situation. The house is in disrepair. Do you want to take a look at it? So it was perfect timing. It was right after I sold everything, and I took a look at it, and I ended up buying it for $305,000. I was able to put 5% down. I bought it as a primary because at that time I was renting. I sold my condo and bought that with $15,000, and then I paid for the renovation in cash. So I ended up selling it for $550,000 and made $150,000 on that flip, and it was my very first flip deal. So
how'd that feel?
Impressive. It felt great, but you know what's funny? It felt great, but I was still full of fear, and I still kept working at my job out of fear that I would never be able to do it again. So that was something I had to get over. Yeah.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
It made it real, right? You had $150K that you didn't have, but you still have. There's this residual fear that we have.
Right.
I'll never forget. So I have a company. I live in Memphis, cool. And I fix and flip and wholesale and do some things in Memphis. Nice. The first time I ever wholesaled a property, I did it by accident. So. And what happened was I got this house at a really great deal. It was very early on, and I was just moving some stuff out of the house. I was doing the cleanup by myself with a crew. And another real estate investor who ended up being a friend of mine drove by and said, hey, did you buy this house? I said, yeah. He goes, are you flipping it? I was like, yes. He goes, well, I got to flip down the street. I paid such and such for this property. I said, oh, that's okay. And I just kind of did that. He goes, how much did you get this for? And I told him, and it was about $70,000 less than what he paid. And so he was like, I'll give you $50,000 if you'll let me get that contract. He basically gave me a $50,000 wholesale fee. And I thought, wow, well, that was awesome. That'll never happen again. That's kind of what I thought, because I just never done it before. I just got lucky. But you can end up making a business out of it. So
100%.
You kept your full-time job. And what were you doing at the time? The full-time, was that still Subway?
No, so I sold those, and then I was doing design work. So I ended up getting that design job in 2006, changed jobs a couple times, and I was working in packaging and product design. So I was designing packaging for toys, for fashion, for a few different companies throughout Manhattan.
Yeah. And you kept that gig until you got your next one?
I actually kept it until 2018. So I kept juggling everything, and it was so fear-based, and it was all a mindset thing. And it wasn't until I made that jump in 2018, and even after I quit my job, I still kept dipping my toe in the water. Like I was taking these little freelance design jobs for like designing packaging and graphics and websites.
Kept reeling you back in.
Right. And then I went to a Tony Robbins event in 2018, Unleash the Power Within. And at that point, I made a clean break. I was like, I'm not going back into this. I'm staying in real estate. I'm staying with my passion. And I decided to go all in on the flipping and the real estate brokerage.
Awesome.
So
now fast forward to today. You know, tell us what you're like. What is the superpower that you have now? How are you helping people the most in today's market?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
So it's funny you say that. So like a lot of what I went through early in life, after my father's, death, and it really put me in a bad place, and it actually created something really powerful. And I'll just touch on that real quick and how it pushes me to serve people. So, I was 26 years old, pushed me to a bad place, basically became an alcoholic, was drinking, super young, lost my license, had nothing, and I was looking for that job in 2006. And I ended up going into a 12-step program, and that 12-step program taught me a design for living. Because at 26 years old, right? So I'm 44 now, but at 26 years old, I didn't know how to live. And after losing everything, my father, I felt like I really didn't have much to live for, and I was really in a bad place. That program put me into a place where, as part of the program, you have to go out and make amends to everyone in your life, right? So it releases guilt and shame. You have to go out and serve other people on the deepest level possible. Share the book of Alcoholics Anonymous with other alcoholics. I was going to jails, rehabs, and I was getting rides to get to these places because I didn't have a car. So what that has taught me was the power of empathy and building relationships, right? It taught me how powerful that was, because the more people I helped, the better I got, right? Because now you're serving other people. So whatever is in your head, your ego, whatever pain you're dealing with, you can't really think of it because now you're thinking of the next person, right? So it puts you in a place of serving. So for me, I feel like having the hardest rock bottom of my life, right, turned out to be the biggest blessing, and has allowed me to see the human dynamic and relationships from a whole different perspective. It's something that still stays with me today. I don't really go to meetings as much as I used to, but I'm still involved, and I still find ways of serving people. It's really interesting. It's like you learn, the more people you help, the more money you make, and the more money you make, the more people you can help. So to me, I consider that as unfair advantage, the ability to feel what other people are feeling, and to really empathize, and to really, really hone in on relationships and serving other people. Because when I go into a house, I say, listen, I could buy the house cash right now, right? You could just walk away, lock the door. The house is in disrepair. It's not mortgageable. Or I could help you renovate your house. I could recommend contractors. Or three, the house isn't so bad. I could put it on the market because I'm a broker and maximize the profitability. So it's really coming to every situation from a problem-solving perspective, and just to serve your clients. And to me, that really became, I believe, my unfair advantage.
So you're using the valley as the event in your life, and that is what it was drives your purpose now that you understood
Correct.
how to operate with maximum efficiency, and that is by not thinking about John McSherry, is thinking about that person as a human being, and how can you solve their problems. That is awesome, and it's a great it's a great redemption story. And the fact that you keep that like right in front is why you're probably doing as well as you have, because you know who you are. So that's awesome. And so now you've been in New York, and New York sounds, I have interviewed some New York realtors, some New York investors, and it just sounds hilariously fun. And of course, everybody's familiar with the President of the United States and Donald Trump, and we all know what his exploits are in New York. It just sounds like a different animal than, regular real estate. So how did you survive that, the concrete jungle of New York? So what was that like? And,
Sure.
and do you still operate in New York? What does that look like?
I do. So sure. It's funny, like when they say if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, and it's really true. I feel like New York created me, on top of finding sobriety and finding this design for living, looking for work in New York City, all the competition, then getting a job, and then getting into real estate in New York City and Long Island with some of the fiercest competition in, if not the world, really teaches you a lot, right? It teaches you also like how to fail forward, right? And to accept rejection, and to keep pushing forward, right? whenever you're cold calling, because that's really how I cut my teeth in the business, was cold calling, obviously building relationships and serving people. But, it is difficult, but it's a place that you could really make a great business if you're doing the right thing. You build a great reputation, because your reputation is everything. If you just keep working on it, slow and controlled, eventually you start to make it and you start to do things. It's just that a lot of people, they give up. They give up way too soon. It's
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yeah, the ability for somebody just to, especially in the high pressure situation that you have in New York City, just to, I mean, it's high pressure. Life is tough, but it just seems like whenever you add in the mix that you have that many people on that small of an island doing all the economy of scale that you're having, it seems like that is not just a pressure cooker, that's a high pressure cooker. And to walk through that and have some success is a banner basically for most people, because most people can't handle that kind of pressure.
I agree. It's something that, it's kind of like what they say about New Yorkers as well. It's like people always think that New Yorkers, don't care or they're rude. The fact is that they really do care. You just have to really put the work in to get to know them. So New York really does have a very hard shell, but once you kind of break into it, it starts to be like a little community. And for me though, I cover a lot of New York. I cover from New York City all the way out to Montauk. So I cover Long Island, Brooklyn, Queens, and it's something that even though I'm here in Florida, and it's funny that I'm actually building a lot of recent New York business because I have a lot of past clients. I've been doing a lot of mailers. So even though I'm here in Florida, and I do go back and forth like 50-50, my New York business is taken off even more. And it's interesting because, just to get specific about the market right now, in New York, the inventory is so tight and people have to be there for jobs, for schools and so forth. So that's always a good market. And right now the prices are still climbing. The interest rates are still really high. But as in Florida, like South Florida and even parts of Texas now, the areas that really exploded the most are now starting to kind of calm down, the most. So for me, I do like being in multiple markets and being diverse, multiple businesses, right? So I'm a real estate agent and a real estate investor, but I'm also in New York and Florida. So it kind of gives me that diversity. I usually don't recommend that, but for me it works because I'm in both areas, and a lot of New Yorkers do buy in Florida. So for me, it's a perfect combination. It's not like I'm doing New York and Memphis or, Florida and LA. It's like New York and Florida go together so well. So it actually works perfectly.
Yeah. Yes. It's always, it's known, I've been in real estate for a while, but it's known that a lot of people from New York State and from New York City have a place in Florida. They escape sometimes the winter for a little bit. And then the folks from New York, when they want to retire, where do they go? They go to Florida. And that's that's where my actually, and I'm from Memphis. My mom went to Florida to retire. I'd like to go to Florida to retire.
Let me know when you're ready.
It's great. I'm coming. Yeah. What's interesting about Florida too now is the markets. There's some areas that are a little bit softer, but the long term for Florida, if they get and again, you correct me if I'm wrong. You're in that market, but I was just there about a month ago, and I was in Fort Lauderdale. I was there for a week, and I rode the Bright Line from Fort Lauderdale all the way up through Miami to I think West Palm, and then I looked at their plans, and that's the plans for the rail is pretty cool. They're going to go across Florida, not just north and south, into Tampa, and that's super cool. So I even though Florida has its issues right now with the insurance and the inventory and maybe a little bit overbuilt, I still am very, very bullish that those
Same.
problems will solve themselves. But yeah, so with that being said, you are an investor. Are you mainly right now wholesaling and fixing flipping in Florida, or tell me what that part of your business looks like?
Sure, sure. So we have this new company called Smile Home Buyers, and it's a wholesaling company at the core. But we are really a marketing company. So whatever deals we come up with, we may choose to flip it, redevelop it, knock it down, and develop it. It really just gives us those options. We've really perfected and become a world-class wholesaling company. When my business partner James moved down to Tampa, I saw an opportunity. That was about a year ago, and I've been wholesaling for a very long time, and so is he. We decided to combine efforts because I was going to make my way down to Florida as well, and we started in Tampa. We saw a tremendous opportunity to where we've become one of the top wholesale companies in Tampa. We're doing about 2 to 5 deals a week. That's wholesale, flipping, burst strategy, redevelopment, and we're raising a lot of capital for upcoming development projects and multifamily projects. So Tampa became our primary focus, and then we brought it over to the East Coast because I'm here. We opened up an office in Fort Lauderdale, and we're growing that team as well. And we're still kind of just hitting those 2 coasts, and it's been going really well so far.
All right, so that's a lot of growth in a short period of time. Like, what does the team look like today?
Sure. So it fluctuates a little bit, right? Because we're always hiring and firing, but our core team is probably about 10 people. It's acquisitions, dispositions, lead manager. I brought over my COO from my real estate, my whole real estate company. She's come over to help operate the wholesale company, and she kind of helps with like the day-to-day. I have my business partner and then we have a bunch of cold callers. So we're really just always testing and trying different software. We're doing everything from, pay-per-click, so PPC, PPL. We're pulling a lot of data, text messaging, cold calling, still doing some mailers to some highly motivated sellers. So we're doing whatever we can to really get in touch with motivated sellers.
So inbound and outbound, do you have a preference? Do you think, as you're looking at your data, over the last 6 months, what has been more profitable for you, or where most of the good leads come from, your inbound or your outbound marketing, would you say, John?
Great question. So the inbound, the pay per lead has been the most effective, and the joint venture. So we do a lot of dispositions for other wholesalers. So we actually almost became kind of like a dispo house in a way, to where now our ability to market and find buyers has been really efficient. We're able to get great prices, and we're able to serve a lot of people pretty quickly. We use Investor Lift and other sites to find our cash buyers. We pull a lot of data. We have teams just working on pulling data, everything from just different lead sources, Facebook, and whatever we can to just find opportunity and help other people. So we've been able to sell deals very quickly. So if anybody ever needs help selling a deal,
if they acquired something, yeah,
and we can move it very fast.
Yeah, that's a great. That is just a really great thing to have, is be the best at that, and then the wholesalers, the ones that are hungry and that get a deal, we want to close fast, right? We want to make sure that we can execute on the contract, and so that's a really great thing to have in the marketplace. Well, John, what else? Let me ask you this: so you're in Tampa 50% of the time, New York 50% of the time. What does your life look like outside of real estate? What kind of hobbies do you have? Family, or what is? Yeah, tell me about that.
Sure. So, love to stay pretty active, working out and all, and I want to get into pickleball. I know that's the new craze, so that's something I want to get into. My partner's like insane about it. He loves it. Something else, and I have an 11-year-old son. Well, he's actually turning 11 in 2 days, Thomas. So he's like just everything to me. I actually shoot a lot of content with him, and he's great. So it is a little challenging traveling around, but we do whatever we can to make it work, and we're just really trying to build this business and build wealth long term. And then most of my family lives in New York, but I have a lot of family down here in Florida too. So a lot of people I know are moving down here. We actually have some new acquisition guys and new money raising guys that are going to move down here right like within the next month from Long Island. So we're doing what we can. And now I'm actually in Fort Lauderdale, or close to Fort Lauderdale. My partner James is in Tampa, and I just go back and forth to Tampa and then back and forth to New York. So it's a little challenging, but we're in just like a heavy growth mode right now. So it's a little crazy, but I'm looking forward to things calming down once we have more systems in place, and we're implementing more software. We're creating Smile Home Buyer software as well, so that it can be used by our team, Also, we may actually sell access to it as part of our training potentially. And we're just doing whatever we can to make it easier for the people that work for us in order to get the leads, get the CRM, get the follow-up, and get things moving. So looking forward to things to calm down a bit more so I can focus more on family, for sure.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep making hay right now. Well, John, where can people find you on the internet, social media? Where's the best place for if people were saying, hey, and I need a deal in New York or I need a deal in Florida and want to deal with you? Let our audience know where can they find you at?
Sure. I think best is my Instagram because it's kind of like a visual storyboard of what I'm doing, and I try to be very transparent. I've been doing it for over 10 years, really just documenting my journey. So you can follow me on Instagram. It's my name, John, JHN, McSherry. That's McSherry.
Okay. Well, folks, there you have it. We'll put that information in the show notes, folks, about John's Instagram so you can see that. John, thank you for being part of the Real Estate Pros podcast. We appreciate your story and a really great redemptive story, folks. And if you find yourself in a situation like that, I really would love for you to reach out to John. He's probably a guy that if you're in that position, he's a guy that will help out. We appreciate your time and thank you for listening to this podcast, folks. We'll see you next time. Remember, like and subscribe and do all the things that all the podcasters and all the Instagram and all the the content creators tell you to do on this, folks. I appreciate your time and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.